Hi, guys. Welcome to this week's call. If you are logging on late, watching this later, or listening to the recording, tonight's topic is not going over the containers like we always do. However, really talking about, in my opinion, the difference between struggle and submission. And, you know, just everybody can give me their feedback on this, but I felt like the last 3 days are struggle. The habits are there. I'm going to make the right food at the right time, but there's a loop in my head saying, oh, I really want a yellow with a blue. I'm feeling rebellious. And I love structure, but I feel sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with structure. I love structure. And then I get to this moment where I'm like, F it, I just want to eat a blue with a yellow, and I want to eat what I want to eat when I want to eat it. And there is a pull and a push, I would say, especially when it's working. Because when it's not working, I'm in this place of like patience, and I'm in this place of it kind of doesn't really matter because it's not working anyway, but it's working. So why am I feeling rebellious? And I feel like it goes back to something very deep in our core where we love structure and we love being told exactly what to do and then watching it work. It's like the best feeling ever. But then why do we want to rebel against that and be like, okay, so now that I have it and I know it's working, now I either want to change it, I don't want to do it, I don't want to believe that this is what actually works, or I want to do the smallest cheats that I can like get away with, just to reassert my control and say, you know, I can do whatever I want. I don't have to listen to it. So I have a lot to say on this topic, but I would love to hear from you guys if you can relate to any of that.
So I haven't been feeling that. I don't know if I get to that. When it's working. Can you hear me with my earpiece?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So I don't know if I do that. If I get to the point where I find that it's working, then do I feel like, oh, now I definitely feel like the structure for me makes it easier and more mindless. Like I said, having been doing this now for what feels like so much longer, I guess, than it is.
Yeah.
In the 14, 15 months I've been doing Beachbody and the containers and the tracking, this is the first time it seems almost funny that I actually don't have to track. That's how ingrained it's become in my head. The meals and the combos are just so natural already at this point. I actually only find that I want to be eating more than I'm allotted right when I finish my meal.
Yes.
And so it can't be because I'm hungry, but it's like, but I'd really like some more oatmeal or, another piece of toast with some peanut butter. I could go for that, and it's definitely not because I'm hungry, but it's wanting it. I'm only like, oh God, why did I eat? Because I wasn't craving before I ate lunch. And now all of a sudden I'm craving something.
Absolutely.
And I just have to let that go away. But in terms of, I don't know, like maybe it's a time thing, like when it starts getting a little boring. Is it that it's boring that like the change for you? Because for me, that's really not what it's about. I feel really.
I am loving the habit. And I'll tell you what I'm loving about it is because it's become this habit that I eat these foods together. And like you said, it's totally unconscious now. Like I don't even need to track. The time of day shows up and I know exactly what I'm eating at that time of day, even if it's a different thing. Here's the most awesome thing about that is it gives me time to process these old behaviors that are there. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I was the girl in high school who got straight A's and never got in trouble, but totally did stuff and never got caught, right? And
me too.
Sometimes I feel like with this program, it's like I'm being the good girl, and then there's this part of me that just wants to have pizza today, that wants to mix the yellow with the blue and of 100 different ways that I could get away with it, right? So I'm like, I could make zucchini pasta with tomato sauce that's a green and a purple with my blue.
Yeah, somebody posted that today in the other group. I'm like, great, zoodle marinara sauce and mozzarella melted on top. I'm totally doing that.
Exactly. And so here's the thing. It's like really checking in with our psychology and little things that totally would have sabotaged us before. So also, I have some milk chocolate in my house because I've been making all these cakes for my kids, and I still have one more to go this week, so it isn't all gone yet. And I have not touched it. I have not touched chocolate chips, but it's there.
I put cocoa nibs in my shake.
Yeah. So I've been having hot cocoa with just cocoa powder, which has been great. But also today I was feeling cravey until I had my Shakeology. When I had my Shakeology today, that really, really helped. But I realized that the food-wise, I'm totally good. It's 100% psychology. It's 100% mindset. It's 100% certain things I like to eat, right? I love the mixture of sauce and cheese. And I was thinking about, like, I wanted pizza because I was eating pizza. I'm like, oh, but I can have cauliflower crust pizza, or I could have any green, like zucchini noodles with marinara sauce and cheese. And so I think it's really important. We all have these kind of underlying behaviors and little personality quirks. Like, because I'm a little creative person and I lack a little, I'm very organized in my head, but I lack a certain amount of organization structurally, and it's something I've had to work on a lot in my life. Hey, for me, it's been a huge thing having this time nutrition because I love it when other people are organized around me because it always, always makes me better. But I think it's so important because we're not all the same. We're not all going to dig into this and get it right away. But the key has been 100% actually following the program from day one. And go ahead. Yeah.
So I kind of agree with Ayala. Like, it's becoming second nature, and
Yes.
I eat when I eat, what I eat when I eat, and I don't have to check my containers and whatever. Last Shabbos I knew I was, and Shabbos is my rest day, so it might be different for me. But last Shabbos I knew I wasn't following. I was running a program, and like I just knew that I was going to eat healthy but not be timed. This Shabbos I found it. I was like in a normal schedule, and it was really hard. Like, I think it was maybe the absence of the workout block that made it really hard to do timed, or just like.
Can I tell you? So, Rena, can I tell you what I did for that?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to walk a minute.
I saw you made that chart the first week.
Yeah. So here, 1 second. Literally, it's on my fridge.
Mine are magnets on my fridge.
It stays there all week.
Yeah.
But I literally wrote out. So now my menu changes every week, but this is just still the same one that I wrote. But the most important part for me was really to figure out on Shabbos. And again, it is different because I am working out Saturday night. So for me, I really had to figure out how to do my workout block later and then work out Motzei Shabbos and then,
but you
and then have
do
the post
Sunday when it's your rest day. Like, is it harder to put on rest day?
Yes, I literally stopped. Here, where do I have my?
Here, while Ayala finds it,
chart and
I'll say one thing about rest day.
What do you mean? I found it. I know where my binder's right here.
Goddess of organization.
Okay. So when I made that, remember this form that I made that you can do the week every day, and then down here was the rest day. And I did it for A, B, C, and D plans. So I literally sat there, and it worked for me last week, and so I did it again this morning, and I stared at the container options and the meal plans, and I realized it is the same as when you have the pre and post workout blocks.
Except your fruit is in with one meal. That's the only difference.
Right. You only add the fruit from the Recover to that meal that has the orange.
Exactly.
So you just decide, do you want that meal to be your lunch or your dinner? And then what
breakfast. I do it for breakfast.
Oh, I totally don't.
I love having the fruit and the orange for breakfast on Sunday because I am starving on recovery day. And this was my third Sunday.
Right. But
finally found what works for me. I found it works for me if I have my 3 carb meals one after the other in the morning. Like I have my meal with the orange and the purple, and then I have one of my, regular meals, red, yellow, green teaspoon, and then another red, yellow, green teaspoon. And then I have my Shakeology meal, and then I have my little blue, green.
Right. No, so it has to work for the day. But like for Shabbos, for me, like if Shabbos was my rest day, when I made a mock, like when I first made the plans, I made myself a mock if Saturday was my rest day or if Sunday was my rest day. And so if you want that biggest meal where the added fruit, so then you can have fruit for dessert for Shabbos lunch, then that can then be that. Like I literally stared at it, and then I wrote where it said meal option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's the same 5 meals. I then labeled it snack 2, snack 1, lunch, breakfast, dinner. Like I figured it out how I wanted it to be, literally. And then this morning, which was my rest day, I stared at it. And then I prepared my food and went to work. Then I had it. So for Shabbos, what works for me also, and again, because if that's your rest day, so you have these meals, it actually is dictating for us that you can only have your shake at night. So then you have to start, okay, so now let's work, let's work around that. Shabbos is my rest day, so you have that in C, you have the red, purple, and teaspoon, right?
Mm-hmm. What do I have? It's red, purple, green teaspoon.
Okay, so instead of that being that's naturally a shake meal, because you have your shake, the protein with the fruit mixed in and a teaspoon, and then let's say vegetables. So whatever. So for your rest day, you just have to rethink it, and that is not necessarily going to be your shake, but that's a great thing to have Shabbos morning as a lighter, because if lunch is going to be bigger, then that could be a yogurt with some cut up fruit in it. And,
So I do for Shabbos morning, that's when I have my blue, purple, green actually, because I do the yogurt kind of meal after nap time. I found that really
right.
And then I have my pre-workout meal right before Shabbos is over, Sidash the sheet, so I can work out after Shabbos, and go from there. What I did want to ask is, what I was saying is, this is all working in that it's second nature, and that's amazing. What I'm saying is, sometimes when things are second nature, it gives you a chance to deal with anything that maybe comes up for you. Whether it's like certain habits you might have when you go to an event, other certain habits that are all of a sudden starting to intrude on your time nutrition habits. So like, for example, if you said like you were running an event, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have certain habits, right? When you run an event, certain things you eat, maybe certain things you do, certain processes that work for you. Yes?
Yeah.
So again, it's like saying, okay, well, that's going to take precedent. I'm not going to do time nutrition that day. Not a judgment. I'm just saying, like, I bet if we all sat and thought about it and figured it out, we could probably figure out how you could do time nutrition. But we have a certain system in place that happens when a certain event is triggered. And this is the most powerful thing about a habit, is that our old habits never completely disappear. That's why it's so important to dissect them, because the second that we figure them out, we're actually able to take our power back, and we're able to change that up and replace it and make sure that we're able to stick with the habits that we want. So for example, habit time nutrition is going great. I know exactly what to eat, exactly when to eat it, and this stressful situation comes up. The stressful situation that I have certain processes that I would do, or certain things I would eat, or certain things I would do in order to cope with that situation. But I don't have that option because it doesn't work in what I'm doing right now. And I'm so ingrained in what I'm doing right now, all of a sudden I feel a resistance. I feel a resistance and a fight almost between two boring habits. And that's where I think a little mindfulness comes in, and we choose. Somebody mentioned, anybody who wants to like say their name can say their name, but I don't want to say it for them. Somebody said they're scared of blues. Okay. So that's something that comes up. So Sheena, that's something that comes up for us, right? So do you mind talking for a minute about like what scares you about a blue? Because it's real. It's something that came up for you when someone told you you had to eat a blue at a certain time of day.
Well, I've heard that you need fat to burn fat.
Yes.
And even though I guess I believe that, because I think that it's probably nutritionally sound, I know avocado has a lot of calories and a lot of fat, and I know hummus has a lot of calories and a lot of fat. I'm just not sure it's really, I guess I don't believe it's really necessary.
Well, okay. Can I take this for a second?
Go for it.
I feel like Miguel's going to punch me.
No! You're not even next to
I'm
me.
not gonna punch you. We're giving you a big hug right now.
Right. A hug and a slap all at the same time. And you're there and I'm here. So it's all good. No, this is the most important thing. And believe me, I say this as someone who has done, I think, I've never done keto, but I think I've done every other diet out there, almost. And the hardest part has now become the easiest part when it comes to the containers. There is no calorie counting. That has now been taken out of your hands. It is, in the beginning, it's scary, but it actually makes things so much easier. You find the bracket that you fit into. You are now told how many containers, how many portions of each food group you should be having a day. Everything's arranged, and this is made so that you're not having the same exact thing every day, okay? That's not going to happen. It's not every day is going to be eggs for breakfast and chicken breast for lunch and salmon for dinner. But the point is there is a range, and your body needs all these different things. You do not need to count the calories. Sometimes in that red container, whether or not you're measuring it or just you know how many ounces something is, sometimes it can be tuna, it can be dark meat chicken, it can be white meat chicken, it could be salmon, it could be meatballs, it could be entrecôte. The point is the food group, and your body will balance it out. And the blues, you don't need to start worrying about how many calories does an avocado have, or cheddar cheese, or mozzarella, or hummus. Your body needs healthy fat. Your skin needs it. Your body needs it. Your metabolism needs it. Now, nothing is good in too much of a quantity. We always all heard moderation.
Small.
What?
Very small.
Sadly,
yeah,
small. Depressing.
I actually looked at the containers yesterday. The blue is very, very small.
So the blue is a third of a cup. Everything looks small. It really, really does. I actually was surprised when I mashed an avocado and I filled up my blue. It was too much for me. I mean, of course, I can eat a thick amount of avocado, so what's too much? I can eat it. But I'm saying it was plenty for one slice of bread. You know, so much of it also looks smaller. Like if you've ever really measured out rice, it really is a normal size. I put quinoa in the yellow container today, and it filled up almost like a third of my plate.
Right.
The only thing that's not big is that teaspoon for peanut butter. That's never enough peanut butter.
Never enough. That's why I use the powder, because then I take a tablespoon.
I don't like that for the powder.
What?
I don't like the aftertaste of the powder. I like put it in a shake, but I'd rather have the teaspoon of real peanut butter than
Really?
I'm with you. I don't use the powder.
I'm totally used to it. I do a tablespoon of the powder. I mix it with some water on a piece of the cinnamon raisin Ezekiel bread. Oh, that's my, I'll save that for dessert. I'll have my red and the green, and I'll eat it, and then I'll have the Ezekiel bread with the peanut butter on top.
Babe, I want to actually say that about the blues and the oranges, because this is something I've been thinking about. Like I've done so many rounds of 21-day fix, and it's always like, try to get your containers in. And I would do like a drizzle of dressing, knowing that it's not an orange container worth of dressing, but like, it's sort of like you see the container as the speed limit, right? It's like, this is as much as you can have. And I found that exact same thing with avocado. Like half an avocado, if it's in a blue, I would never eat half an avocado. Like, and I'm sort of
embarrassed to know you.
I love avocado.
Trade all my yellows for blues.
But and it's like, okay, 12 almonds. I can eat like 47 almonds, not 12 almonds. But when I've been doing lately, like sliced almonds and toasting them and filling a blue with that, it's so, like, I don't need that much on my salad. And it's like, I feel like with this program, she's like, no, you've got to eat all of that, which is just like a
what
mindset.
You don't realize is she was like that with 21-day fix. You got to eat all of it. But I mean, I also did this with 21 Day Fix
I
in the
was
other
back-
program.
oh,
I would say I'll do half my blue and then my other half of the blue later.
Right.
And that's when so much of the tracking had to come in more because you really had to keep track if you used half containers. Or, oh my God, I didn't eat any greens, so I'm going to make a salad with 3 cups of vegetables. Like when she spoke today,
Yeah.
or yesterday, right, Lily?
Yesterday.
When she spoke about the science behind the program, somebody had asked about what's the science behind the container combo, and
How come we can't have 2 blues and skip an orange, and how come we have to have so many teaspoons? Why isn't it 3 blues and no freaking teaspoons, or a teaspoon of anything you want?
Right, but it wasn't even just that. The most amazing thing to me that she said was, let's say you're somebody who doesn't like vegetables, and in 21 Day Fix, it was just about having all your containers. So you made a big salad with 3 cups of vegetables to get most of it, over with. She said the way the program is broken up like this with the time nutrition and separating it throughout the day, that now your body is getting all its nutrients throughout the day. But why is that important? Because if you consume too much of one thing at one time, your body can't absorb all those nutrients. Like there'll be a cap. You'll have all those vegetables, but you're not going to then benefit from having 3 cups of vegetables if you had them at one time. But if you have 1 cup in the morning, 1 cup in the afternoon, and 1 cup in the evening, those separate times, your body is absorbing all the nutrients and vitamins and minerals and phytowood and everything else, whatever she calls them, I don't know, throughout the day.
Which makes me feel like if I could have, that's what makes the eating all the blue at one time feel funny, right? Like
yes,
a little bit.
Half an avocado. I would rather have like a quarter of an avocado on toast one time a day and a quarter of avocado on toast another time a day. You know what I mean?
Right. Or cheese in your omelet in the morning and then some avocado on a piece of,
So
for sure.
This is what I loved about her answer when she talked about the science, because like Shayna, I totally get, and Rena, where you're struggling from in your blues, because I struggle with that in my yellows. Okay? I much more lean towards eating more healthy fat and less carb, less greens or stuff like that. Like if I had my choice, right? But here's the thing. It's about giving our muscles, right? We're doing this program, and it doesn't matter if you're doing 21 Day Fix or 21 Day Fix Extreme or a little obsessed, or seriously, it matters with 80 Day Obsession. We are killing our bodies in that we are working them to their max every single day in the most amazing way, not to injury, but to their real max, and then increasing what our ability is. The only way we can do that is if we're giving our muscles a chance to take all the nutrition from the food that we're eating and then use that to restore our body. It's like if you can go a little sci-fi with me for 1 minute, like imagine it's like we were broken down. Literally, that's what happens when we work out. All of our muscle tissue, I feel like in my entire body, has been broken down and it has to like be rebuilt. So if you can close your eyes and literally imagine every muscle and tendon and your skin in your body has to be rebuilt. So you need every bit of those calories, and you need them in that combination. And
it's very easy to think about that and realize it if you start foam rolling. Then you feel every tendon.
and that's the amazing thing about, and I say it's from 21 Day Fix, from all of Autumn's programs, but she would kind of hint to these things, but people, it's hard to accept. And that's what I want to talk about, like this idea of like surrender and submit a little bit to the program. Because we all talk about trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. But I think it's actually a little deeper than trust. Like we trust things, then we still want to do them our own way. And we still want to tweak them. And we still want to say, well, I'm scared of carbs or I'm scared of blue. So I'm still not going, I trust that it would work. I just am not doing it. Right? Or I'm just still struggling with doing it. And
or I trust it'll work maybe for the 6 other people, but for me, if I just did this, then maybe it would be different.
Yeah, I think we kind of, sometimes I fool myself to thinking that I know better.
Right, absolutely. And right here with a health degree in nutrition, I feel the same way sometimes. And I think after anybody Ayala back me up, anybody who's dieted for years feels like they know everything that there is to know about nutrition too. We're like, okay, it's hard. But if we submit and we surrender, That's where actual freedom is. And we know this because we talk about it when it comes to Passover, right? We know this, that when we actually submitted to God, that's when we were free, right? So there's a certain amount of understanding that when we submit to an idea that our body is powerful and our body is being worked and our body is growing. And I have to tell you, I judged Autumn a little bit yesterday. Who judged Autumn a little bit when she couldn't pick up her weights this week and didn't finish her workout, right? Just a little bit. You got a little like, I finished the workout and Autumn didn't. And then she posted a video in our coach test group as to what she's lifting right now.
Oh my God.
On her second round of the session.
She's lifting
squatted
88
pounds and sumo squatted 40 kilo, another 80 pounds, okay? All the other moves, she was still using her 25-pound weight. But she's like, you guys remember that day when I couldn't even pick up my weights? I had to finish my workout later. My arm strength, my grip strength after not working out for 3 weeks was so dead. She's like, this is what continuous progress and time nutrition do for you. They rebuild you stronger every day. And also by submitting mentally to the process. And also, everybody there? Yeah, okay. What's the word I want to use? It's,
I can tell you how I feel. I feel it to be very liberating. As somebody who is a control freak, this actually helped me in I feel in control, but even though it's being dictated by somebody else what I should be doing, it's really liberated me from overthinking things and for overdoing it. And I know it's going to be a long process. And as long as I still feel healthy and good, then I know something's going to happen. I keep on going back to so many of the coach test groups and some people who like really didn't lose weight the whole time. And then they say, you still have to get through phase 2 and then phase 3. And then the magic happens. And it's about the consistency. It's about building. It's about doing all that. So I'm really also trying hard not to look day by day to see, oh my God, is there a difference today? Do I know if there's a difference or not? But it's become so liberating knowing the plan that this Shabbos, even though things were so beyond my control, a really long davening, we had a lunch for a bar mitzvah. And I turned to my husband. I said, "Holy!" Like I had breakfast at 8:30 at home before I went to shul, and I did not get fed lunch until 1. I'm like, it has been weeks since I've gone 5 hours without eating. Right? But I didn't crash in between. There was a kiddish, and I didn't go grab anything else. So I'm like, nope, that's not the combination I'm supposed to be having. That's not my meal, and that made it so much easier than me.
And I had an emotional journey. I had some crazy stuff going on here, and my kids were like losing their minds Erev Shabbat, and it was super difficult. And we were dealing with some other ADD issues in the house over Shabbat, and it was liberating to not eat those emotions because there was no container for emotion. There was no container. Here's your container to eat and to drink and eat all your emotions. No, she took the wine and the chocolate and all that stuff away from me. So that's not here anymore. So instead, I have to process them and I have to deal with them and I have to meet conflict when it comes and deal with that. And that's also really liberating because you know exactly what your next meal is. And to get there, we had to submit. And remember, we are ahead of you guys because that's our job as your coaches to be ahead of you. Okay, we started the time nutrition 2 weeks ahead of all of you. And you'll catch up. You'll get there. The only way we got here, though, is submitting and surrendering to the program and then feeling in yoga. My mom teaches yoga. She keeps trying. She keeps like pushing me to do all these moves on the floor and just lie with your legs to one side and then just lie with your legs to the side. She said, Lily, when you finally surrender to the move, you're going to feel this tremendous release of tension in your body. And God, I'm not a surrenderer. I'm a scrappy fighter. and to surrender is incredibly liberating. So I want to do a quick go over of the container combinations, and if anybody has one new thing they've made, we can add it in, or something they plan on making. I know you made that sloppy Joe, Ayelet. That was really good.
I made the sloppy Joe. I have a great combo for that green blue purple. Also, that was a great like Shabbos treat. I combined pumpkin with apple and sliced almonds, sprayed it in cinnamon and a little bit of salt, baked it, and it was like this dessert dish, but it had like the pumpkin, the apple, and the things. So that was an amazing, for me, that was a great like find for that meal. The sloppy joes on Fixate, as well as other things on Fixate, really was huge. The sloppy joes was a hit with everybody in the house.
So I did the tacos, and we're going to be doing, the kids actually are now obsessed with Taco Tuesday, and we've had a deal that we will be having Taco Tuesday for the remainder of any day of session. We're doing fish tacos this week.
Oh.
So we will be enjoying different tacos. And the other thing that the kids actually loved was we did, for the red purple teaspoon, we did different Shakeology. So I did half an orange squeezed into my Shakeology, and then half I ate on the side. And the orange and the chocolate were amazing. Amazing together, and really, really hit the spot when I wanted something sweet or I wanted something chocolatey. So that was really, really amazing. Anybody have any, like, so Shane, I don't know, you're here right now. Anybody have any meals that are difficult, any combinations that they're struggling with? Nope. Shayna, no? Good? Okay.
No, I kind of just keep grilled chicken and hard-boiled eggs and tuna, and then I just kind of rotate that with vegetables and quinoa, sweet potato.
Okay.
But I have a question. Lily, you said, are we all following the same order? That's what I'm confused about. Like, I think you said Shabbat morning you have...
Absolutely. So you don't have to follow. So you have to put the workout blocks before and after your workout. The other meals can be put in any order they want, as long as those combinations stay together.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
There you go.
Right. Meaning, so no matter what, depending if you work out morning, afternoon, or evening, that pre-workout meal and the post-workout meal need to be on the top and bottom of your workout. Then what they call meal 1, 2, 3, those combos need to stay together, but you can have meal, let's say you're working out in the evening, meal 3 can be breakfast, meal 2 can be your next meal, then you can have your pre-workout meal, workout, post-workout meal, and then meal 1.
Okay, I understand.
So go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm finally writing up my menu now as we're talking.
Great.
So I'm going to send that to you guys, and maybe you could just look it over and see if that makes
Sure.
sense.
Of course.
That's great. So I also did something similar than what you said. Like today, I meal prepped. I made a tray of salmon fillets. I made a tray of chicken breast that I season. I made a tray of sweet potatoes, half of which I then used to make those sweet potato spinach egg cups. So I use half the sweet potatoes for that. So I have those egg cups already made. I have extra sweet potato made, salmon, chicken, and I also made some quinoa porridge. I was like, oh my God, I haven't had quinoa. I've been having oatmeal. But it's just a little bit of a different flavor when you do it with quinoa. A lot of the same seasoning. I still did some salt, some cinnamon, stevia, and almond milk, and water mixed with the quinoa, but it still tastes different than the oatmeal. So that was just a nice little thing.
So actually, it's so funny that you said that, because I also bought a bag of quinoa to make quinoa porridge. It's so funny. But the other thing that I did this week is I actually went a little higher fat. So I have been hungry this past week because the program is freaking really working. Like, I'm looking in the mirror and I am seeing changes. And I hope nobody gets upset if they're not there yet, but I really am seeing changes in my body, and we have 4 minutes left. But with those changes has come a ravenous metabolism. Mm-hmm. I used to need to wait 90 minutes between eating my food and working out. 20 minutes now. I am ready to go. And
Wow.
I'm like ready for every single meal. So what Autumn had said is that's when you change what's in your container. So I usually like white meat. I made dark meat this week. I made some ground meat this week. I made salmon, and then some chicken breast also to lighten it up. But I just, again, like when I made my eggs this morning, I slipped an extra white in there because I was hungrier and I could add a little white in there without. And again, I'm not quite there yet where she said it's time to move up to the bracket before these 4 weeks are over. But I do need to be putting in those extra things. And then it really helped today. Usually rest day is my most hungry day. And then also I realized that on those hungry days, I'm hungry early in the day, not in the evening. So really moving my carbohydrate meals to early in the day, and then having the lighter two in the evening, my Shakeology and my vegetable fruit, blue meal, the snacks was much better. And then all of a sudden I just wasn't starving all day in that middle area of the day where that made a difference. So also just paying attention, but I really do stick to exactly the same ritual order of food during the week and pretty much on Shabbat now. Like I found what works and I'm sticking with it because that's how I built the habit that made it very ingrained. Any last things? We have 2 minutes left. So I do want to go over for anybody who's watching this back later. I would say the number one takeaway, it's not just about trusting the process, it's about surrendering to the process and then enjoying the freedom that comes with that. And as you see results, as Autumn said, everybody got results who did this program. Not one single person didn't. It's just depend on how you define results. If you have a transformation, you got to be happy with the transformation your body decides to give you. Less than a minute left. We love you guys. Have a fantastic, fantastic week.
Thank you so much, Lily and Ayelet.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.